It is a night full of fear on the edge of the sea. One man stands at the front holding a wooden staff. His name is Moses. He lifts his staff over the waves. For a moment, every heart is silent. Every hope hangs in the air. This is the moment when fear meets faith. God has promised rescue. But now, these people must decide.
We have nowhere to go! We are trapped!
Have you ever stood at the edge of the impossible, forced to choose between fear and faith? LEGO Bible Adventures proudly presents Moses and the Story of Exodus. In the ancient land of Egypt beside the wide Nile River, tall palaces shining in the sun and strong soldiers guarding the streets. But in the poorer neighborhoods, a different sound fills the air. The cries of the Hebrew slaves, the people of Israel. The new Pharaoh, a powerful and proud king, fears these foreigners. He gathers his advisors and says,
"The Israelites have become too many. If a war breaks out, they might join our enemies. We must control them."
Pharaoh's fear turns to cruelty. He commands a terrible law. Every baby boy born to the Hebrews must be thrown into the Nile River. Somewhere in that darkness, a deliverer is being born. In a small house, a Hebrew woman named Jochebed and her husband Amram welcome a new baby boy. She knows her son is in danger. For 3 months, she and her daughter Miriam hide the baby from the soldiers, wrapping him in blankets and keeping him quiet. But the time comes when hiding is no longer safe.
Miriam!
There is a child here!
Let go of him, old man!
Catch the child!
Miriam makes a small basket, sealing it with tar so it will float. She places her brother inside, kisses his forehead, and whispers a prayer.
God, please protect him.
What seems like surrender is the beginning of a rescue mission written by heaven. The basket drifts as birds call overhead. Pharaoh's daughter, a young Egyptian princess, comes to bathe at the river with her attendants. She notices the basket among the reeds and sends her servant to fetch it. Opening the basket, the princess sees the baby boy crying softly. Her heart is moved.
This must be one of the Hebrew children.
As she cradles the baby, Miriam steps forward and asks,
Shall I find a Hebrew woman to nurse him for you?
The princess nods.
Take this child and care for him. I will pay you.
So, for a time, Moses, the baby's name means drawn out of the water, was raised by his real family. Not long after, Miriam brings Moses back to the palace. The princess raises him as her own son, until one day, Moses will hear a call, not to rule Egypt, but to confront it. As the years passed in Egypt, Moses was growing up. He wears royal robes, but his heart beats for a people in chains. Anger and sadness mix inside him. The overseer falls. Moses quickly buries the body in the sand, his heart pounding. The next day, Moses sees two Hebrews arguing. One man shouts,
Who made you ruler and judge over us? Are you going to kill me like you killed the Egyptian?
Moses freezes. He realizes his secret is known. Word spreads quickly. Soon Pharaoh hears about what Moses did. Moses is afraid. That night he leaves the palace and flees Egypt. He runs across the desert alone, with only a walking staff and his memories. He leaves behind a crown, but walks straight into the wilderness where God refines leaders. After days of travel, Moses arrives in a land called Midian. He sits by a well, tired and thirsty. Nearby, a group of young women bring their sheep to drink, but shepherds try to chase them away. Moses stands up, drives off the shepherds, and helps the women water their flock. One of the women, Zipporah, thanks him. She and her sisters invite Moses to their home. Their father, Jethro, is the priest of Midian. He welcomes Moses as a guest. Over time, Moses begins a new life. He marries Zipporah and works as a shepherd. He learns patience and finds peace. But peace is not the end. In the silence of the desert, God is preparing to speak. Many years pass. One day, while leading his flock near Mount Horeb, Moses notices a strange sight. A bush on fire, but the flames do not burn it up. Moses steps closer. A voice calls from the bush,
Moses? Moses?
It is God.
Moses takes off his sandals, afraid but curious. God tells Moses that he has seen the suffering of his people in Egypt.
I will send you to Pharaoh to bring my people out of Egypt.
Moses was surprised and afraid.
Who am I to go to Pharaoh and bring the Israelites out of Egypt?
I will be with you.
When Moses worried that the Israelites would not believe him, God gave him signs. His staff would turn into a snake. His hand would become leprous and then healed. Moses also confessed he was not eloquent, so God promised that Aaron, his brother, would help him speak. With a humble heart, Moses obeys. He returns home, gathers his family, and prepares to go back to Egypt. This time, not as a prince, but as a prophet. The man who once ran from Egypt now returns to face a king, to free a nation, to fulfill a promise. Arriving back in Egypt, Moses is joined by his older brother, Aaron. Aaron is quick to speak and stands by Moses as a trusted helper. Together, they go to the palace and request a meeting with Pharaoh, the powerful king who rules all of Egypt. Standing in the great hall, Moses and Aaron speak clearly.
The Lord,
The God of Israel says, 'Let my people go.'"
Pharaoh frowns. He refuses. Instead, he orders the Hebrew slaves to work even harder. They must make bricks without straw, but still meet the same daily total. What began as a plea for freedom now becomes a clash of power and pride. Moses asks God for help. God tells Moses not to give up, for he will show his power. Moses and Aaron return to Pharaoh. As a sign, Aaron's staff becomes a snake on the palace floor, but Pharaoh is not convinced. His magicians copy the trick, and Pharaoh's heart remains hard. Each sign is answered with stubbornness, but God is not finished. Then the plagues begin. One by one, God brings disasters upon Egypt. First, the water of the Nile turns to blood. Fish die and the river smells terrible. Next, frogs cover the land, even inside houses and beds. Then come gnats and flies, filling the air and crawling on people and animals. The Egyptian livestock die, but the herds of the Israelites are safe. Painful boils break out on people and animals. Hail falls from the sky, destroying crops and trees. Locusts arrive, eating everything left. A deep darkness covers the land for 3 days. No one can see anything, but in the homes of the Israelites there is light. Each time a plague comes, Pharaoh calls Moses and Aaron to the palace. He asks for the plagues to stop. But every time the trouble ends, Pharaoh changes his mind. He refuses to let the Israelites go. Pharaoh's heart is hard, but God's justice is unstoppable. God warns Moses of the final plague, the most serious of all. Moses tells the Israelites to prepare. Each family chooses a lamb, cooks it, and paints its blood on the doorframes of their houses. That night, the firstborn son in every Egyptian family dies, but the Israelite homes are spared. In the darkness and sorrow that follows, Pharaoh finally gives in. He tells Moses and Aaron,
"Take your people, leave Egypt at once."
After years of suffering, the Israelites pack their things and prepare for freedom. But the journey is far from over. The desert waits, and so does the next test of faith. The long journey from Egypt leads thousands of Israelites across rocky hills and through dry desert paths. Their feet are sore, their hands are tired, but there is hope in every step. At last, the people reach the wide shore of the Red Sea. In the evening light, families set up tents along the sand. Herders gather sheep and goats, and children rest against carts piled with baskets and jars. The sound of waves fills the air as everyone prepares to camp for the night. Suddenly, a cry breaks out near the back of the camp. On the far horizon, rising above the dust and rocks, hundreds of chariots appear. Pharaoh's army is coming. Torches glow and shields flash in the fading sun. The noise of marching feet, galloping horses, and shouting soldiers grows louder with every heartbeat. Panic spreads quickly through the camp. Some mothers grab their children, pulling them close. Fathers hurry to gather what little they can carry. Elders stand and watch the water, searching for any escape. Many cry out in fear, their voices trembling.
"We have nowhere to go! We are trapped!"
Moses moves to the front of the people. He stands between his frightened people and the roaring sea. The Israelites surround him, desperate, eyes wide with terror and questions. With the Egyptian army drawing near, Moses lifts his staff high above the waves. The night wind rises, cold, powerful, whipping robes and tents. The sea stirs, slowly water pulls back and rises into towering walls on each side, revealing a wide, dry path straight through the middle. A moment of silence falls as everyone stares in shock. Then Moses steps forward. He leads the way onto the seabed. Parents carry small children. Neighbors hold hands. Thousands walk between the walls of water, hurrying forward as Pharaoh's chariots rush after them, wheels spinning, horses neighing. The last Israelite reaches the far side just as Moses raises his staff one more time. The sea crashes back, swallowing the soldiers and chariots. The thunder of water fades, replaced by cries of relief and wonder. On the far shore, the Israelites gather under the breaking dawn. Faces wet with tears, children laugh. Elders drop to their knees. For the first time, the whole nation is free. They sing and praise God together, amazed by what they have seen. Before them, the desert stretches out, empty, wide, and waiting. Freedom seems to be real, but will the next steps test their heart again? The sea has parted. The enemy is gone. But the wilderness is just beginning. As the Israelites step onto the wide sands of the desert, their cheers begin to fade into silence. The Red Sea is now behind them, but in front is a never-ending land of rocks and sand. Freedom feels real, but so does uncertainty. At first, the days are filled with celebration. Families share what little food they have and sing songs of victory late into the night. Moses walks among the people, listening to stories of hope, of narrow escapes, of dreams for a better future. Children play, still excited by the memory of the great miracle at the sea. But soon, reality returns. The sun rises hotter each day, water jars run dry, and the baskets of food empty. The journey is longer than anyone expected. Hunger and thirst settle over the camp like a heavy blanket. Some begin to grumble.
Why did we ever leave Egypt? At least there we never starved.
Moses listens to every complaint. He turns to God for help. The next morning, the people wake to see the ground covered in something white and strange. They gather it and taste manna, bread from heaven. Each evening, birds fill the camp, quail for meat. Later, when water runs out and hope slips away, God tells Moses to strike a rock. Cool, clear water gushes out, enough for everyone. Each time the people are in need, God provides. But each gift is quickly forgotten when the next problem arrives. The desert teaches the Israelites that trusting God is not always easy. After weeks of travel, they reach the foot of a tall, rocky mountain, Mount Sinai. The camp spreads out beneath black clouds and distant thunder. God calls Moses to climb alone to the top. There, in fire and smoke, God gives him 2 stone tablets, the 10 Commandments, rules for living with justice, kindness, and faith. While Moses is away, the camp grows restless. Fear and impatience fill the days. Some melt down their gold and shape a statue of a calf. They begin to sing and dance, forgetting the God who led them out of Egypt. He sees the golden calf, the people dancing, shouting, forgetting. His heart breaks, then burns with righteous fury. He throws the tablets. Stone shatters. Silence falls. God listens and forgives. Moses carves new tablets. The covenant is renewed. Together the people build the tabernacle, a special tent to worship God. When it is finished, a bright cloud covers it by day, and a pillar of fire glows above it at night. Now every time the Israelites break camp and move forward, the cloud or fire leads them. The pillar of fire glows, the cloud moves, and so they follow, not just a path through the desert, but a journey of the heart. For God is with them. But before the promise can be fulfilled, the desert still holds more lessons. Through endless miles of desert, the Israelites keep moving. The years in the desert shape them in ways they could never have imagined. Each sunrise brings a new lesson about trust, about patience, about starting over when they fall. The children who once left Egypt holding their parents' hands are now grown. A new generation raised in the wilderness stands ready at the border of the Promised Land. Their tents fill the valley below as Moses calls the people together one final time. His voice carries over the quiet camp, reminding everyone of where they began and how far they have come. He tells them again of the nights under the stars, the bread from heaven, the days of fear and hope, and the law given by God on the mountain. Before the nation enters Canaan, Moses sends 12 scouts ahead. The land is rich and beautiful, but stories of giants and fortified cities bring doubt to the camp. Some people are afraid, and once again, the community wavers between faith and fear. God's promise stands firm, but because of their lack of trust, the Israelites spend 40 years wandering. In that long journey, Moses never stops leading, comforting the weary, correcting those who turn away, and praying for mercy when they stumble. From the windswept heights of Mount Nebo, Moses sees it at last, the land flowing with promise, stretching far beyond the Jordan. He knows he will not enter it, but his mission is complete. He turns to Joshua, the warrior, the servant, the one chosen to carry the torch. Moses lays his hands upon him and says,
Be strong, be courageous. The Lord walks before you.
Moses dies there on the mountain. The people grieve for their great leader, but hope remains. With Joshua guiding them, the Israelites move forward into their new home, hearts full of memory, faith, and determination. And so, the legacy of Moses endures, not just in stone tablets or ancient tales, but in every heart that chooses faith over fear. From that day to this one. No matter where you come from, what language you speak, or the color of your skin, the story of Moses and the Exodus belongs to you. It teaches us that hope is stronger than fear, that freedom is worth the struggle, and that faith can carry us across any wilderness. From the days of slavery in Egypt to the edge of a new land, this story proves that courage, faith, and perseverance can change everything. Even the greatest leaders have moments of doubt, but God's promises always remain true. You may never face a sea or a desert, but we all know what it's like to meet challenges that feel impossible. We have all waited, wandered, and wondered if the promise will ever come. Yet through every step, God is still leading, still speaking, still inviting us to trust. How has faith helped you through a difficult time? If this story has touched your heart, share your thoughts in the comments And don't forget to subscribe for more LEGO Bible adventures. Every journey, including yours, is part of a bigger story. Thank you for watching. Just as God walked with Moses and the Israelites,